Now, Deputy President William Ruto and the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga have in recent days been locked in a bitter war of words over their respective proposals to deal with unemployment and sustenance of the livelihoods of millions of unemployed Kenyans, particularly the youth. While Ruto is proposing policy reforms to enhance youth access to credit for business, Odinga is pledging to set up a social welfare program as an urgent measure to safeguard the livelihoods of the unemployed. But are these proposals tenable, or is it just another round of populist campaign pledges? Morimi Mwangi interrogates.
For over a year now, the single-wheel mechanical wagon has been the symbol of Deputy President William Ruto's 2022 race to State House, summarizing his quest for power as the economic messiah for the lowest cadre of society, infamously dubbed the hustlers, with a promise to unlock the youth access to easy capital for business. But with only 10 months to the polls, the country's second-in-command has been locked in a bitter war of words against his vicious rival, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, campaigning on what he terms as a robust social protection program.
We reach about 8 million poor Kenyans a year, given that the average size of a household across the country is 4 individuals.
Tunaweka pesa ya serikali na mpango wa mikopo ya serikali ambayo itamsaidia mama mboga apate pesa ya kufanya biashara.
Under what he calls his bottom-up economic model, Ruto pledges liberation of business enterprises from what he terms as a Shylock-like credit exploitation to expand the fortunes of what he calls hustler business enterprises. A proposal Odinga has dismissed as untenable and tailored to instigate youth dependence on handouts. Instead, Odinga pledges to set up 100 billion shillings kitty to net an estimated 2 million poor households to be entitled to the monthly stipend, with a promise to fight corruption as an avenue to have more government funds to spend on projects to create employment for the jobless and particularly the youth.
There is something that we need to test in terms of what Raila is saying in terms of social welfare, because he is talking about a welfare program which will require funding. Now, that happens in social democracies. But we don't know what Ruto is talking about, whether it is a capitalist program or whether it's a social welfare program.
The only problem with us as Kenyans is that for these things to work, then we have to make sure that first of all we deal with the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room here is trying to curb corruption, because if we don't fight corruption, then at the same time it will just open another cash cow for some people.
Ruto has already created regional teams of strategists, customizing his bottom-up model to diverse interests of the regional zones. Odinga, on the other hand, has been releasing topical policy reform proposals, targeting such sectors as manufacturing, agriculture, and trade.
Ours is always based either on constitutional or legal changes and policy changes that are able to bring the lives of people to a better place. These are the guys, you just hear them saying bottom up, bottom up, bottom up, but they will not tell you what is the legal underpinning of your proposal.
Raila moved into the system, and he's now the leader of at least a big player with the conservative status quo forces, and they kicked William Ruto out. And he's now the one who's speaking the language, the very progressive language actually. In fact, more progressive language than even somebody like Raila have ever spoken. Enough.
Ruto and Odinga have been styling themselves as frontrunners to the Kenyatta succession race, and with a heavy emphasis on elaborate manifestos to back up the campaign rhetoric. No doubt the duo are poised to continue locking horns as the August 9th, 2022 polls beckon. Morimi Mwangi, KTN News.
Now remember, later on the show we'll have a panel in studio to discuss electoral opinion polls and the rationale behind them. Do stand by for that. For now, Newsline takes a break. We'll be back with more news.